Sam basically came out and said in this book, he said, well, 95% of what marketers use agencies, strategists, and creative professionals for will easily at almost no cost be handled by AI in the future. And to put context to that, he was talking about AGI, by the way, because the question posed to him was when AGI, or artificial general intelligence, which is way more sophisticated than what we have now with ChatGPT 4 and all those kinds of things, because the follow-up is, well, when are we going to get AGI? And Sam was like, well, 5 years, maybe a little longer. So everything he's talking about here is at least 5 years away from his point. And if you believe some of the other people, it could be 25 years, it could be 50 years before we get to AGI. It could be never we get to AGI. By the way, we've never even really defined what the hell AGI even means yet. I mean, nobody has a good, solid, sort of standardized definition of what AGI means yet. It's like, we'll know it when we see it. Okay, all right. But anyway.
When they say no, that's
when. Exactly.
When the thing says no, I'd rather not.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. And so here's the thing. I don't mind that Altman is doing this, right? He's trying to raise $1 trillion in venture capital money to do some amazing things. And so he's clearly in wind everybody up mode, right? Even when he's doing these interviews for books that aren't getting a ton of publicity at the moment. And so, I mean, it would be pretty self-deflating if they go, well, what do you think about, AI and creative services? If he went, I don't know. Maybe it'll provide a few more incremental sort of efficiency levels for our employees, and it'll be good for. No, that's not going to sell any books, and it's certainly not going to help him raise $1 trillion. He's got to wind everybody up. But the thing is, I also hate this because ultimately two things happen. One thing that happens is, and this gets to exactly what we were talking about at the top of the show, which is all the nuance goes away. I promise you, when you see the headlines from this 95% quote hit mainstream media or even social media, what you're going to see is Sam Altman predicts that 95% of creative agencies and strategists are going away because of AI. That's what you're going to lose the AGI context. You're going to lose all the different things. The second thing, which is also just as insidious, is that the quote itself is built to be hyperbolic. It's built for clickbait, right? This technology that has evolved and fundamental innovations in technology, the telephone, electricity, all those kinds of things, yes, they change us. Like they change the way that we do things. You cannot have one on the supply side versus the demand side. In other words, you can't, just because you have a faster horse called a car, if there's no demand for the car or the faster horse, it doesn't matter how fast you develop a car. And so it's always gated by how quickly we can get to better demand for the innovation itself. So it suggests that if any innovation like AI is going to be successful, most people will have to develop it. And so while it's really great for these kind of quotes to be a scare tactic and fear, uncertainty, and doubt, basically it's so dangerous because it just really puts the fear into people, and it's just, I think, so unnecessary. And I'll give you a quick example of this. So Altman says in the interview, 95% of what clients use creative agencies and marketing for today will be done by some form of AI. Okay. I'm going to switch that quote around a little bit, right? I'm going to say in 5 years, 95% of creative agencies and marketing people will use some form of AI to do what their clients want. Now, we just said the exact same thing. I just put the change on us, not the technology. In other words, I put the change on the demand for the technology rather than the supply of the technology. But my quote is not going to raise $1 trillion. My quote is not going to get clickbait. My quote is not going to make the headlines of Ad Age, right? So I just want everybody to think about when they start to see these quotes, instead of sort of going, the world's on fire and my job's going to end, stop thinking about it like that. Because basically, if you look at it through the lens of what if it's me that changes rather than the value of the innovation, not what the innovation is going to do to the value of me. So just think about it from that lens for a minute, because it'll be much better for your feeling better about what's going on in the world right now.